feel it. Well, Gaines, my boy, man. From the town, right?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised on the playgrounds where you spend most of your day. No, tell me how it was for you, because you're an 80s baby too, ain't you?
Yeah, I graduated in 99.
All right. And see, I was born in 88, so you were a couple blocks older than me, but we in the same decade.
No doubt,
you know
no
what
doubt,
I mean?
no
So,
doubt, no
man,
doubt.
what was your recollection of the town when you were a kid? When you were a kid growing up, man?
When I was growing up, it was the playground days. That was the pure leave the front door open.
Yeah.
Neighbors can whoop you down the street if they, everybody had a right. That's
village.
what I remember. Where I grew up, BC Franklin was the spot. Every Sunday it was lit up. They hooping, they barbecuing, and he might be shooting afterwards.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You never
Some
know.
shit like that, man. So, but that's kind of how I remember when I grew up. Just a lot of outdoor. Everything was outdoors.
Hell yeah.
We all played outdoors: football, basketball, baseball, track. You made up games, right? So that was my field for back then. Just a lot of outdoors.
Didn't nobody want to be in the house. And if you're in the house, you either eating or you probably had to take a nap. You don't want to take no nap.
Right. And it was embarrassing when you had to go in the house, kind of. When everybody else could still be outside and you had to go eat your peas.
Oh man, yeah. You're not getting up from that table till you get the green.
Mama said, "Eat. Listen, you gonna eat." So.
I love the way that go, man.
Yeah, man.
Now, tell me about the family dynamic. Are you one of one, or you got some brothers and sisters, man?
No, I got a sister. Shout out to my sister Sparkle Jones down in Houston. But other than that, just us two.
Yeah,
man. It's us two. My mom did a good job, I think, and so did my pops, my grandparents. So
I feel that.
Yeah.
How y'all get along, man? Now versus back then.
It was up and down. It was up and down. But
she older or younger?
No, she's younger.
Oh, okay.
And she can get fiery. She can be fiery. But she schooled me a lot, believe it or not, as the older. When I got out of high school and acting up, and I ended up following her lead.
Really?
To be honest, listen, my mama said, do what she doing.
Was that hard? Was that hard for you to do though? Like as a man, we got ego.
Take a step back, not only to your little sister, but in context of that, a woman as well. We don't take backseat to women very well.
That's
and
right.
as a youngster, 19, 20, when you think you know it all, but she did. That was some of the wiser words my mom said. Follow her, she's doing right. So I kind of took it and thank you to her.
Yeah,
honestly.
It wasn't profound, but it hit the mark though.
No doubt.
I feel that. Now, where'd you go to middle school at though?
I went to Carver.
You went to Carver? I was a Carver kid too, man.
Yeah, man. I went to Carver.
I'm always fascinated to hear from Carver cats that didn't go to Booker T, because I was one of those.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How did you not end up as a Hornet after you were a Wildcat?
To be honest, I didn't get accepted. I applied. I remember turning in my application late. My mom, she was always on, do your own thing, get your own paperwork done. I turned it in, just you fill it out. If it's something you can't fill it. And man, I dropped the ball. I feel it out. I'm talking about, man, they let me still bring that thing in about a week or two later, past the deadline. Shout out to Carver at that time. I think that was Mr. Myers and that crew, Miss Ward, the secretary. But to be honest, man, that was all on me. I dropped the ball on that one, for sure.
So when you didn't get into Booker T, man, did it devastate you, or were you like, all right, I just got to go to plan B?
I was devastated at first because that was that was everybody. I went to Walt Whitman and Carver with the same people, and so it's hard as a kid to separate yourself as a 13 or 14-year-old from all which is your friends. When, like I said, growing up with me, everything was outside, so I could go get 20 guys from here, literally.
Easily.
Y'all we did this for years. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little devastation there, but and then it turned into fire after that.
It turned into fire after that. I like that. I like that. And you were part of some good teams out there at Memorial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me about how that was when you had to, because see, you were under Coach Sprague at the time, right? He was the head coach.
Right. Coach O'Rourke. It was Coach O'Rourke my first 2 years, and then Coach Sprague basically the last 2.5 years. Coach O'Rourke had gotten in that trouble. They let him go tournament champions. I walk in the locker room, tournament champions my sophomore year. Gaines, get your stuff on. You starting. 5,000 people in the stands. It was nuts. But Coach Sprague did groom me the back end of my career in a good fashion, I think.
Yeah, man. So that I can't wait to get there. So you walk into Memorial as a freshman, right? You know you playing basketball, right?
Right.
Do you remember that moment of introduction to a new level? Like, all right, hey brother, that moment where, oh snap, we up one now.
No doubt.
Break it down.
Going to Memorial. At that time, shout out to Vernon Durant, these were two of the black guys that started we'd go play ball at Memorial. Normally, that was a white establishment. That was a white school. When I got there, my freshman year, they was juniors. Vernon was already being recruited by some Division I, so was Atif. And it went from my guys that I grew up with in the parks, around in the neighborhood, to walking to practice. Everybody's older. Maybe one or two coaches over there. That's a change. Listen to me. You go from freshman practice to, perhaps, Coach Sampson in the gym is different. It's levels.
Ooh, were you able to find your footing pretty early?
Early, I was lazy. I didn't want to work. I would catch myself getting back on the activity bus, not going to varsity practice when I was told to, trying to go play with my guys, Tonio Jr., all my guys I grew up with playing summer ball with in my neighborhood. To be honest, man, my priorities wasn't straight as far as I didn't want to work. I just wanted to be with my friends, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that ties into why I look at the 80s the way I do. It was everything was all together. I got to Memorial, man. It was eye-opening, to be honest with you, man.
Man, youngsters, because you've been through it, but youngsters, when you get that invite to the varsity practice, you need to go.
You do. You do.
Of course, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rugged. It's tough. But but that's where you want to be, man.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So who reeled you back in? Did you self-check or did Coach finally come grab you?
Yeah, it was Coach Sprague and Coach O'Rourke at that time. Ain't no jockeying.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. They moved you out the way and scoot over the next guy. I BS. They were the pure definition of next man up. They wasn't kissing no ass. It wasn't no catering.
None of that.
It was, we can cater if you here and you committed and you work hard. Other than that, you don't get none of that. So I will say this. When I did commit and stop BSing, it was beautiful, man.
Things started turning around.
It was, man. And now, not only that, we had another guard that was All-State Green Country Player of the Year. He just wasn't a Division I because he was too short. Colin Pitcock's brother. I don't know if you remember Colin Pitcock. So, yeah, man.
You over there with some guys. Man.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But see, you said something to me that immediately you just brought back some nostalgia for me because, like you said, man, when I got through with freshman practice. I remember that because, see, nowadays, obviously, I coach over here at Central.
No doubt.
And so the landscape of the district is a little different. I remember when freshmen had all city. You had something you were competing for.
Absolutely.
You're trying to get the championship.
Absolutely.
Every school in the district had a freshman team. Y'all finna lock horns home and home.
Oh, yeah.
Each
without
one.
a doubt.
Man.
Without a doubt.
Was it competitive during your era, too?
Yeah. It was when my freshman year was we used to do that. Everybody come. It was a preseason.
The little preview.
Yeah, the little preview. The little preview. But again, it was a challenge for me my freshman year because you got to remember I went to Carver, so I grew up with Tonio Jr., Greg. That's really what it was my whole year. Then going out to Memorial, kind of somewhat single-handedly. I had to pick up big responsibility my freshman year. And then I think they seen the challenge that I took from what the coaches was offering me. Hey, man, listen, I know you by yourself. Can you get us here? I took the challenge. That was a good thing. Then I got on JV the end of my freshman year. And that's why I knew I may have been somewhat on to something.
Yeah, man.
Once I quit playing and quit being lazy and not prioritizing right, Coach Sprague, those guys that got with me. And it took my freshman year and heightened it ending it with JV and leading us and scoring on the JV. So yeah, my freshman year was fun, man, without a doubt.
You learned something too.
I did.
And you actually answered my next question. I was gonna be like, was your role any different from freshman to JV?
It was not, but it ended up being that way just because the last maybe 10 games I just kind of shot it well. You know, to be honest, and when you shoot it well, it's hard to not play one of your efficient guys. And so, you know, and I wouldn't. We would spread out our JV, but you know, you talking about maybe 11, 12 a game. But that was enough. You know, 5 or 6 shots apiece kind of for everybody. And
that's solid.
I was just more efficient, to be honest. Dude. Got lucky on that.
That means you took good ones, and the ones you took, you made.
I took some good ones, and you want to take good ones jumping into a JV as a freshman. Not only that, I was late, so I missed all the practices. I get to practice with y'all. Some of them felt like I was, you know, a little bit catered to. But once I did start working hard, that it was hard to take that from me.
Game recognized game at that point.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, this kid can go.
Absolutely.
Now, how were your parents during this era? Because you gave me a little glimpse of it in terms of your mom making you responsible for doing your paperwork. So I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming you didn't have either one of them, mom or dad, that was going to be coming up there, Coach, why my boy ain't none of that.
No, that wasn't them. Because that wasn't my mama's priority. You know, my mom's priority was, you know, being an honor roll student.
Yeah.
And my pops, that was his dream. You know, my pops was living through me a little bit, which was fine. You know what I'm saying? But my mom didn't see it that way. My mom seen, you know, you got to go to college. You know, we got to get you. You know, that the more the education side of things. My pops was that way too, but my pops had a dream for me. You know, and like I said, he was kind of living through me. So he pressed that. You know, he wasn't, but my pops has coached before, so he'll never be the man that'll say, why ain't my son playing?
Got you.
He get it.
I respect it.
He get it, and he knew what was out there, so he would understand why I may be sitting as a freshman or a sophomore, and then when it was time, he understood why I got as many shots as I did. You know, there's a pecking order out there, to be honest, man. It was tough out there. Man.
So I would imagine with your freshman year ending the way it did, you getting that call up, so to speak. You come in as a sophomore, you're gonna be, if you're playing JV, you probably one of them ones, one of those impact players.
Right.
And now you're knocking on that door, possibly getting ready to get that V suit. Man, how was that sophomore season?
My sophomore season was a good one off the court. So off the court, man, you know that shit, man. You be chasing chicks.
Yeah. Inner city shit, man.
Oh my God, man, what was I thinking? No, I was supposed to be the sixth man coming in. One of the starters was ineligible. This was the wildest. We found out one of the starters was ineligible. That was Coach Bragg's oldest son. Same day.
No, he was tight.
Same day, come in the locker room expecting nothing but, you know, coming off the bench, blah 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 blah. Police at the door. Coach Aric has been arrested. Coach Bragg, you're the coach now. I mean, this is all literally out the, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I started Tournament Champions, which I was nervous as hell. You know what I'm saying?
In hindsight, were you ready?
Nah,
I got you.
And I kind of shot the ball good too, but that was too big time for me at that time.
Ooh, man. Okay, so in that moment, we got to stay there. Who'd y'all play first of all in that?
Putnam City North.
Putnam City North.
Putnam City North with BJ Rainey them.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I know that.
Yeah, it was. It was fun looking back on it now, but yeah, at that time, and I wasn't ready for that. I was nervous. I was. You know what I'm saying? You just when you play with 3 all-state seniors. You move a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? It's a pecking order to it. So I got out there. I was nervous as hell. But it ended up good. We ended up winning the first one. That let me calm down a little bit. You know, finished with 8 points, something like that, and the win. It was solid. And that did take some of the edge off a little bit.
Can you remember how the team as a collective reacted? Because not only were you in a tough spot, but the rest of them, the whole apple cart just got upset right there.
It did.
You remember the temperament of the locker room during that time?
I did. We was all shocked. But at the same time, and this is not me shitting on Levi Sprague or nothing, but he wasn't fucking with me.
Not
and
at all.
I think, you know, Vernon Durant, Wes Pitcock, Atif, Mike Rainey, Jake Thompson, all those guys, they knew it, and I fit in. To be honest, that don't mean I wasn't nervous, and that don't mean I was ready. It just happened, you know. So Shout out to all those guys that gave me the confidence when I got there. None of them, they didn't treat me any differently. It was Coach Sprague's motto, next man up. It didn't matter. That was his son. And he scooted him out the way.
Hey.
I mean, dirtied him too for a little bit. After he got back eligible, punished him. So
yeah, a little bit personal right there.
No doubt,
which is understandable.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you had some good vets.
Absolutely.
You know, that brought you,
absolutely,
that taught you the way,
absolutely,
gave you confidence and probably some discipline whenever it was necessary.
Absolutely.
Man, you having coaching on your jacket too. How important would you say it is to have some help as a coach? And by help, I mean some extensions of you in your captains or players that can reinforce that same message.
Right. Help is big. You think you know it all.
Yeah.
and that's our problem. You know, we think we know it all, and you know, we watch the game a lot, and you know, we play pickup still, and a lot of that stuff we just is our own pride. But you need help. I would love to have on the roster with you, and on my staff with you and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Just A1 minds that
That'd be
play the
great.
game the right way, brought up tough. You know, you can't do this on your own, coach, and it's too hard.
Mm-hmm. And it's like at the end of the day, you can be as brilliant of a mind as you want to be, but you only got one set of eyes.
You only got one. And you know, as a coach, you can be in the game, but your assistants can see, they dropped in a 1-3-1 now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get caught up, and some good assistants is going to hold you down every time.
That's a fact, man. It's a well-oiled machine. That's the way this has got to go.
No doubt.
So, all right, back to your sophomore season. You in the driver's seat. I would imagine that wasn't just a one-off, right? So did you stay in that starting role?
Well, I ended up starting 3 games after tournament champs. So tournament champs, you're guaranteed 3 games.
Yes, sir.
I think we came back with an East Central and McLean, something like that. And then I ended up being ineligible. Again, I'm telling you, man, listen. But, chasing girls and what was I thinking?
Man, listen, you just being a kid.
Well, I was just being, but yes, a lot of vets. You don't really get the full. You're not thankful enough until it's really gone.
Mm-hmm.
We had shot makers, man. You think as a sophomore, I want my time. I could shoot just like he can. Yeah. But those are shot makers. At the best time available.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't have that. So.
Man, what class got you ineligible?
You gonna think of no. Geometry.
I respect it.
Geometry.
Algebra 2 got me.
Yeah,
so.
geometry, algebra 2. If you miss a day, you're done. It's a step.
Yeah.
You may have missed 2 steps. If you missed class one time in algebra, you missed a day where she showed you 2 or 3 steps to figure out the equation, whatever it was, right? Algebra, geometry maybe not as angled down on missing, but that was the class, man. My girlfriend was in there, man.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what's so wild. I bet you she was eligible, whether she was an athlete or not.
Stayed eligible. Always had her stuff done, and but. Again, my friends, they was in there too. It wasn't just who I was dating at the time. It was my buddies, you know. And so look, my veterans that I ran with, they were so veteran that they could come in somebody's class and they can let's class up.
Yeah, we know who you are. Right. We know who you are. Great game last night.
Right.
One of those type deals.
Right, absolutely.
So how did you reintegrate yourself once you got back eligible? Or did you get that extra punishment too?
I got the punishment. I got the punishment. And I wasn't high on the pecking order like that too. I didn't have room. I didn't have a leash to fuck up. I'm a sophomore playing with 4 seniors, 3 of them all state, and I got a junior who is a Division I.
Oof. We taking shit from you?
They don't need me.
Right.
They would love to have me, and I didn't have that leash, and so no, he punched me. As a matter of fact, shout out to Jason Parker. Parker got in there and got some of my minutes, and that hurt. Parker was a freshman.
Younger than you.
He punished me. But I'm built the right way now, because of Coach Sprague, so shout out to him.
Man, how'd y'all finish that sophomore season?
Lost in state championship.
Ooh.
Ouchie. Yeah,
listen, man.
It was tough.
Man, you got to take us through it, man. You got to take us through it. First of all, let's acknowledge the fact that out of 32 teams, 2 of them left.
No doubt.
About to dance and get it on.
No doubt.
Who was that opponent? What was that atmosphere like?
It was crazy, man. We was at Lloyd Noble.
Yes, sir. OU, baby.
Down there in Norman. Shout out to them. It was, for me, I didn't know what type of stage I was on, to be honest. I knew it was state.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know the severity. I didn't know how serious this really was. And once I seen everybody start traveling down to Norman, and Lloyd Noble seats a good crowd, you know.
That's right.
So anyway, we finished those first 2 with decent wins. You know, not blowouts, but decent wins. And we got to the state championship game against BA. John Bell, Bo Wallace.
Yes, sir.
Those guys, man. Shout out to them, man. We stayed close. We just couldn't grab them.
God dog it. Yeah. So, man, what's that locker room like when it's over with? Because you know, coach got to come in there and say something, but you know, y'all ain't in a mind frame to where you want to hear any of that shit.
Yeah.
But it's most appropriate that he come in there and say something cliche.
Yeah. You know what? To be honest, he was the total opposite.
Really?
He was real proud of us. That's when we figured out he was still more of a true father figure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he had some evil stuff about him. Every coach do. You know, you get up under on their bad side or whatever, they go punish you. Sometimes a little bit not as deserved, but
a little overkill.
We got in the locker room, man, but some of my guys, listen, I played with some A1 didn't give a dammers.
Yeah.
So
didn't give a damn.
Listen, it's half the locker room we cut up and hurt, and then 1 or 2 of them may say, you know, are we smoking when we get out of here?
Didn't take long.
But that was
that's where it
that
is.
was the experience, man. Was crazy because it was split up. They was all good, and some didn't take it like this group. And but now I do remember being like scared, like, man, what is this talk about? And it was more of a proud talk from what I can remember.
You know what? I think that's appropriate, man. Because as competitors, we all want to win.
We all do.
But at the end of it all, it can only be one team left standing.
It can only be one.
And when you got kids that fit that demographic, like you break it down, man, if they've overcome anything up to that point, you can't go in there and tell them that none of that matters just because they lost the game.
Right.
So they going to go right back to wherever you just saved them from.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's terrible.
Without a doubt.
But I'm also assume something else. Now, going into your junior year, I wouldn't imagine that y'all would need much motivation to put the work in.
No.
What was that off season like leading into your junior year?
That year, I did work on my game. That summer going from my sophomore year to my junior year, I ended up playing with Antioch. At that time, it was Coach Buck. Shout out to Coach Buck. And then going into my junior year, I was all gas.
Yeah.
I'm firing. But I didn't know how good Jason was going to be either. You know, and he was with me in the backcourt, and he came in. He was better.
Yeah.
He was better. But we did have a great backcourt. Me and him, both of us averaging double digits. I think he was closer to 20. I may have been closer to 14.
Right.
You know.
Solid. But you at the one spot, though, right?
I'm at the one, and we started 3 guards. So we started me, Jason Parker, a guy named Jay Miller, lefty, that was a sniper. And all of us was around in between 13 and 18, 19 balance. We had a Division I big at 17 per. We ended up going to Division I. So we ended up making it to the area finals, man. Getting beaten overtime by Sapulpa. Sapulpa. Out in Owasso, man, just...
that 6'8" be tough. That 6'8" be tough.
It was tough, man. It was tough.
It's like you got to eat your Wheaties every night.
Every day.
But, you know, with that scoring being balanced, like you just said, that tells me that y'all had 4 guys that could easily lead y'all in scoring every night. Y'all could have a different lead scorer every game.
Without a doubt. We did, even though Jason still was that for the most part, it was nice while led us. It was nice that Jay led us. It was a lot of nights that Mike led us. That was our big. We were balanced. We led the state in scoring that year, almost at like 85 per.
Man.
We busted the clock 10 times easy, if not more than that.
Golly.
I mean, we put up 111 on Rogers, Arkansas, I think, one year.
Just ran it up on them,
Let's go. Let's go.
And I got my eyebrows up on that because it's like I know the brand of basketball that was being played in this city and in this conference at that time. So if you running up on somebody like that, either they bad or you good. You know what I mean?
And it could be a little bit of both.
Right. Ain't wrong with that.
But we just, man, to be honest, that year, we were just extremely balanced, and Coach Sprague let us kind of play. We we didn't have a lot of sets. We ran motion, and we had like a little bit of top screen and roll stuff. Nothing. He let us play.
Was he not as loose the previous year?
No, I think he was a little nervous. He had just got that job.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And we still ran motion. We had but he got into he learned too. It was his first year as a head. I mean, outside of him coaching over at Hale, but he stepped into a bigger realm from Hale to Memorial. His first go round, I think he was a little nervous. That second year round, when he figured out different nuances throughout the system,
right? He
was able to say, "Hey, yo, by the way, running mode, we can do it this way. We do it this way. Find this out of it, and do this out of it too." And we probably, it worked. Yeah. It was a success.
He was coming into his own. I love that. Yeah. And as you were, so he came in as a junior. Yeah. Pulling. Now, going into that senior season, man. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think I remember Aric Savage, when I had him on the podcast, telling me that was his first year as an assistant, your senior year. Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Man, tell me about early Coach Savage, man.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Savage. I think he came over from Wright Christian. And to be honest, it was his first time. You could tell on the biggest stage, 6A basketball. But he came in. He was a good professional. He did what he was asked to do. He taught us what he could, and after, everybody benefited more from Coach Savage, I think, after that first year. Once they let Coach Savage be the head and be him, he showed you, why he's a state championship coach without a doubt. Shout out to Coach.
That's a fact. And he told me that story, that his first introduction to you guys was when Coach Sprague set him up. You know what I mean, at the Summer League game.
Summer League, yeah, he did.
He said, "I'm looking out there. I'm looking at Jason Parker. I'm looking at Gaines, and they're looking at me like, hey man." I'm asking them, "Hey, is Coach gonna be here?" He said, "Your name specifically." Like, "Yeah, he'll probably be here." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he's feeding the fire.
Yeah. Listen, we was out in Coweta, Catoosa. One of those.
He definitely said Catoosa.
Yeah, we was one of those, and we was in the gym, and he showed up, and we was kind of, where's Coach Sprague at? Yeah. And he dropped him off in the hood. But look at Coach Savage, man. He was built for that, man. He stepped into that. And he did good. I know he was a little nervous because he don't know us.
Right.
He's introduced to 4 or 5 new black kids. I don't remember what he exact came from it, right? But how could that not be different, right?
For sure. And then, you guys are upperclassmen.
No doubt.
You've been there and done that a little bit, so, I would imagine that it probably ain't the easiest thing for just anybody to tell y'all something.
Oh, man, listen, you could tell us. You could tell. And then not only that, we had already kind of had a little bit of success that previous year. So we really thinking,
what you got, Smith?
It's really our year next year, right?
Yeah.
And so when you hire on yourself, and you have another good summer after my junior year, I had another good summer, and with that, he walked in. Again, he did good. We thought we knew everything.
Yeah.
We thought we knew everything. At the end of the day, we talked a little shit to him. Some of us gave him a little, he would try to get out there and play with us from time to time.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy how with boys, it's best if you still can get out there and mix it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because when you can show them that, first of all, I can still roll y'all up.
Right.
Then naturally, respect.
The respect comes. Yeah, that respect comes, and that's what it took for him. He got out there, he would play with us, and he was always still cool. You respected his professional angle on everything. He was trying to be the best assistant possible, and he did good. He did exactly what Coach Sprague needed him to do. So shout out again to Coach Savage.
Your senior season, what's it like? Obviously, you know what time it is. It's urgent. It's your last go round. Y'all got close, knocking on the door, but no cigar. So you know you got 2 chips, one on each shoulder.
Yeah.
How was that ride like?
Senior year, like I said, I came in. I had a real good summer. Went out the blue chip. So now the mail is rolling in.
There you go.
Mail is rolling in.
So okay, this could happen.
I'm like, man, this could happen. And then we started off well. We was playing good. And then I will say this: Coach Savage brought a new kid with him, Aric, Paul.
Okay.
Shout out to Paul Emerson, wherever he at. And so now some of this is on me, but my senior year, so arrogant, man. I'm smoking weed at school. I'm cutting up. You know what I'm saying? Just
taking chances for no reason.
why? So then it got around that, he skipped school from time. I made park down here, man, the tennis court at Memorial.
Yeah.
After English, that's the only class I really had to pass my senior. I already had 20 credits going into my senior year, which I only needed 21.
Right.
English first hour, AD, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone. And so
man.
it started to show in my play. Then my pop stepped in. Him and Coach Sprague, but it had big time.
Really?
Yeah, man, and this is true. He may not want to hear this, but the mail stopped slightly. He never, I never knew I had to get cleared by NCAA clearinghouse.
Right.
And a lot of stuff, and I had at least 5 or 6. Jason tell you this: low majors to mid majors, weekly mail. Bill self-call. This true story. This is the path I was on, but I was in my own way too. Trying to kick it and full of myself, and to this day, big regret. I promise.
I'm actually glad to hear you say that last part because, it's such a cliche statement. Everybody says, I live with no regrets. And I'm like, man, it's hard for me. Well, here's where I understand it. Of course, if you go back in time and you change one thing, that changes another thing. But you can't tell me that you got an unblemished record to where you look back and you don't think of anything to where you go, I messed that up.
That's a lie.
Come on, man.
That's a lie. People can tell themselves that they don't have no regret. You can tell yourself I wouldn't change nothing. I would.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
I would. I mean, you sitting here telling me that if I would have chose right, that this could have took my career here or possibly here, or I could have met them or been in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me I wanted to go the long way on that? No, I want to go the right way. Off rip, I don't know what my life could be like if I just stay disciplined, focused, and do stuff the right way, man. People, I'm confused on why people, certain things I don't mind learning.
Right.
Some bumps in the road I don't mind, but if it could possibly affect me being a millionaire, I regret.
Yeah.
Or in front of the right people, I'm gonna raise my hand. That's regret for me, and I'm pissed about that.
Man. Well, you say your dad had to intervene. Coach Sprague had to intervene. What that intervention look like, man? What was it?
Coach Sprague, he didn't back down.
He didn't back down.
He didn't back down at all.
Really?
Man.
What was your pops upset about though? That's I guess
I'm gonna tell you what it was. I went to a party and we was hanging out. Kid stuff, smoking, drinking beers, just dumb stuff as kids, right?
For sure.
And then that got back to Coach. And after that, and what's funny is we played the Cox Game of the Week against Hale that
on
Friday.
TV.
Look, sat me down.
Ooh,
Don't
benched.
do me like that, Coach. Don't you do
Like didn't play. Dressed you?
Listen, played me, but didn't want to start me. No, listen to me. Don't get it twisted. When it got a little heated in that Hale gym,
Yeah.
he took Paul ass out there.
Yeah.
Because he still got to win ball game. But
facts.
then after that, him and my pops, man, they fell out. I mean, and he, my pops came up there. He tried to buck on my pops a little bit.
Yeah.
And
about to get a little smoky.
It did a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But none of this happens if I had been doing what I was supposed to.
Right.
To be honest, you know, and that's really what it is, man. And I regret it. I don't know how everybody, again, going back to, I don't know if people really mean that when they say that, but for me, big regret.
I can come off the top about 4 or 5 things I wish I could switch up a little bit. Now, what side of it were you on as a kid? Because a lot of times, I've seen this, you probably have too. I've seen a kid, he or she, cutting up. Yeah. And they know damn well what they're guilty of.
Right.
And whether they tell their parents something different or they don't tell them nothing at all.
Right.
And their parents come up here in blind faith fighting their battle for them.
Absolutely.
And this kid let them do that, knowing they did wrong.
Yeah. No.
You know, did you know you were dead wrong? Like, yo, let me shit. Pops, man, I'm wrong.
At that time, I didn't, because I didn't see, you know, as a kid, you didn't, you know, 17-year-old at that, you know, you didn't see the problem with smoking a little weed, right. Drinking a beer. You know,
I'm still
we feel like we grown, 18's on the way. For some reason, we thought we was grown when we turned 18.
You knew absolutely nothing at 18.
It didn't know nothing. And when that got back to him, that part, that's on me. Mm-hmm. That's on me. Now, I thought I had some brothers on my team. We'll leave the names. But that's on me. I can't put that on Coach Bray. He didn't tolerate that. He didn't want that. That was said up front. You know, he didn't want that type of activity through his players. And I chose to do it anyway. You know, and so that part is on me. Shout out to my pops for coming to my defense too, but it was on me, to be honest.
I feel you. So all that happened was you just didn't start.
I didn't start that one, but my pops felt like, what a wrong time on the TV game to do that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that on the TV game. You know, and it. Listen to me, that hurt, because hell was packed that night. I remember this. I mean,
nigga he wanted that look, boy.
Man, listen, you know, you want to run out that tank, you know, that tunnel, and you know how everybody kind of line up to the side, you running through, slapping everybody, and at the end you got your man with y'all. Yeah. You know, whatever, you know, and
it was always an atmosphere over there, man. I'm telling you, whenever they called the visitor lineup, man, the Warrior fans got the paper. I said, oh, this is legendary, man.
Yeah, man. So he didn't do that. I mean, he did that. He took me out the lineup. My pops was hot, and then that's where my pops did become one of those parents. You know, and so, but he just was doing what a dad was supposed to do, or what he thought was supposed to be fair to his kid.
Right.
And, but yeah, I have to raise my hand on that for sure.
Okay. All right, moving past that game, once the ship got righted, you understand what I'm saying? Tell me about the rest of that senior season, dog. How did it go? How'd y'all finish?
After that, you know, me and Coach Bray, I remember talking with him, and it was really as simple as a sorry. He put me back in the line, and after that, man, we rolled. We rolled. We finished that. That was probably those last 10 games. I think 9-1.
Oh yeah, that's a good run now.
Ended up getting beat by Muskogee, area finals in overtime again. Remember, previous year got beat by Sapulpa, area finals overtime. And then Davis from Muskogee, man, shout out to him, Jason Davis, hit a bank shot on us, bro. Literally, no time to throw up a launcher, nothing, just senior year.
Done. Long time coming, abrupt finish. God, that's tough, man.
I mean, all we want is that to come off. And overtime, we rolling. We steam back.
Yeah.
You know, and that's...
Y'all made the last push.
We make the push at the end. Muskogee, we was up. Muskogee caught back up, jumped up. And then I remember Parker going nuts that fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. He may have had like 12 in the fourth. I may have brought 6 in the fourth. We fought, man. I cried on that one.
Yeah.
I cried on that. That was supposed to be how I went out as a senior, going to state. So that was tough.
Man. Yeah, that's tough too, man. My condolences.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was tough, man. It was, when you love the game, man, you don't take losing well.
Nah. And, you know, when people say, you know, it's another goofy statement I hear people say all the time. You know, it's like, you ain't the same. It's like, you ain't the same after you lose. I'm like, well, should I be? Are you kidding me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You show me a good loser, I'm going to show you a loser.
I'm going to show you a loser.
That's right,
True
man.
words.
Now, I ain't saying you got to be on suicide watch.
Right.
But I don't want you skinning and grinning.
Right. Ain't none of that. After we took Wait, you got the nerve to laugh, and these four
Oh.
leaving here with this boy finger might be broken. He's skint up from diving on the.
Mm-hmm.
And you laughing at?
No, and their career, high school wise anyway, is over.
Oh,
Come on, you got more time.
you got more
But
time.
you know,
Now, that was the first thing I said. Man, that's it. That's the last shot I'm gonna see in high school.
Mm-hmm. Man, and that's fun as hell, man.
Yeah.
This high school is fun as hell.
It
But your AAU experience, we ain't tapped into that much, man. Tell me about how that was, dog.
AAU, I played with Buck, with Antioch.
Yeah, Buck's a legend, by the way.
I played with a team called Tulsa Storm,
Mm-hmm.
and then I played with Memorial. Memorial ended up getting me, Parker, Jamie, all of us ended up kind of teaming up.
Yeah.
And going down to the shootouts. You know, might shoot out to New Orleans or something, go jump in a tournament or something out there. We did. I wasn't on the circuit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At that time, I think it was the Hawks.
Yeah.
But I think that's who it was. They had the shoe deal, and but it was tough to get on the Hawks, man. Everybody in the whole state, some guys coming down from Kansas, some from Arkansas. Everybody wanted to play with the Hawks, you know.
Yep.
So, but my AAU was more Buck.
Mm-hmm.
My junior year, I ended up going to some of those Camp 5-star blue chip,
Right.
and that's how my mail started rolling in, because those is where I actually got to see coaches. I got to play in front of coaches.
There you go.
At blue chip camp. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now that was fun.
Now, when you were playing in these AAU tournaments or at these camps, did you have to adapt your style in order to be effective? And where I'm coming from is, you know how a lot of cats they on a personal mission.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt. It's a lot of. It was a lot of greediness then too, you know. But how I did get lucky at blue chip camp, one year they asked Coach Brady to coach it. And he was me and Parker's coach. Parker played up. He was an underclassman. I think that he was underclassman of the camp. Parker mail was.
It was coming thick. Yeah.
Parker man was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that's it was tough. You know, again, all I know growing up, just to tie back into the beginning, is all my friends and playing outside, playing football. I didn't travel and get to go see guys in D.C.
Right.
New York and Philly, Seattle, you know, all these play Louisville and
it wasn't moving like that just then.
And getting there, man, it's like, this is really serious, man.
Mm-hmm. It's levels.
He putting this thing up because he trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? And so that was new to me, because all my friends, we played the right way.
The right way.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was the most eye-opening as far as my AAU career, going to blue chip camp. Some of that elite talent. Yeah.
Seeing, okay, there's levels to this, but these cats trying to get theirs, man.
Listen,
Get it up.
Fire rings.
Swing it if you want to.
If you swing it,
go
you
rebound.
may not get it again. But the benefit was when we was Coach Braid, all three of us from Memorial played together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had a couple Georgia guys, maybe one from Carolina or something. But for the 8 or 9 people I remember on my team, 3 of us, we all played together. So that was a big benefit.
Familiarity, chemistry, all that.
Yeah.
All right. After high school, what's next for you, man? What was that next? What that next chapter look like for old Coach Gaines at the time?
I shout out to NEO.
Yeah, man.
Coach Spencer was out there at that time. Coach Spencer and Coach Farmer. And, man, got out there. Same thing, man. I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature.
Still had some of those old habits.
Just old habits. Got to college. Made good grades. It's just that I just didn't. I would go to practice, and they allowed me to come in and walk on because, you know what I'm saying, how my senior year ended with not only how it ended on the court, but my pops and Coach Sprague is at each other, said it wasn't really nothing I could ask him.
Right.
Anyway, I got out there, man, and I gave up. I'm shooting to you straight. I got out there, and I just thought off the court stuff was more fun.
Yeah.
And
wasn't focused.
Wasn't focused, man. I'd be lying right here on your show, man, if I said I was focused. I wasn't.
How long were you out there?
I did a year out there. Then I went over to Bacon, where I did sign a scholarship over there.
They was still a JUCO at the time, huh?
It was still a JUCO then, you know. So I went over there, ineligible, man. Just Muskogee was close to the town.
Yes, it was. Oh,
I'm trying to go
not
to
so
Baja
good.
every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I was just, man, to be honest, man,
Cutting up.
I got over there, it was still big kicking it, man. Me and Quentin Isham, shout out to Central alum right
over
there.
here.
We was out there together, man, and what's funny is it was my year. It was my year. I came from NEO. I didn't play, but everybody knew Coach Spencer gave me big time, love shooting over the Baycone and
letting everybody know, this guy, he
just unfocused, man.
I feel that. So you didn't spend much time down there in Muskogee, did
No, I spent 1 year. Then I think I came back that second semester. I think it was an NAIA. I think that's when you ended up showing up. I think, was it? Okay, no. Okay, I'm thinking about. I used to come down there. I met you more through, I think, Josh now. But I mean, it was set up. It was set up perfect, man. And with that team, I probably on the JUCO level probably could have came in averaging 13, 14.
Another solid one.
Probably could have signed to Oral Roberts or something.
You know what I mean? There.
So this is why I live with regret. I don't know what my life is like if I graduate with a TU degree or Oral Roberts or Arkansas Little or whatever. Yeah, I missed out. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. That was the end of the basketball journey after that year?
That was the end of that. I would still play. That. We would come to Central sometime. We'd play at Aspen a lot. We would still play a lot, but then after that, Pops kind of introduced me into the coaching side of things. Yeah. I could still be connected to the game.
Did you resist that at first?
No.
You
no.
all in?
I jumped right in coaching over there at Alcott.
Yeah.
And that was fun and developed a pure love for kids after that, man, and I ain't turned back since.
Man, I tell folks all the time, you gotta love the kids more than you love the game.
Without a doubt.
You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
Because them suckers, boy, they'll humble you.
Oh, without a doubt. Listen to me. But man, they can give you something to live for too.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, man. You wake up thinking about a few of them, perhaps, and how you want life to be better for them, and how to get them out of a bad situation at home. Yeah. You automatically invested, man, when it comes to kids.
I love that. So Alcott, man. How long were you there?
3 years.
3 years, huh?
3 years, and that was real fun.
Were you affected pretty early, or did you sort of have to find your footing when it came to instruction, or when it came to meeting the player where he is?
Alcott, I was lucky at Alcott. Won 3 championships in a row at Alcott.
He came out the gate batting 1,000.
I came out, man. Listen, I fell into a great. I had players.
Yeah.
And
all
for little kids, right? So I think I was coaching maybe 5th grade or something like that. And
that's a good age, though.
Yeah, man, it was perfect, and they wanted to get better. That was a good thing that they all wanted to turn the curve, and they wanted to leave from where they was at. So
want to get up out of their circumstances.
Yeah, no doubt.
After that 3 years at Alcott, what was stop number 2?
I went over to Montecasino. Parker was the AD over there at the time. Won the state championship over there with Montecasino. That was a good thing. Left Monty, went to Cassia. That was third stop. Did pretty good at Cassia.
That's the stop I didn't know about. I knew about Montecasino. Yeah. Just didn't know about the chronological order. I didn't know Cassia was there.
Cassia was. So I left Monty and sat out a year, and then I went over to Cassia. And we finished 3rd in the state. I think the year before I got there, they was 18th in the state. So that was a real big jump. That was real good for my resume. And then after that was the team.
Man. And, of course, we're definitely leading up to that. But break down to me the differences, if any, that you can recall from the demographic of kids that you coaching at Montecasino and Cassia Hall versus Alcott.
Big difference. Those kids, Monty, Cassia, those kids were, to shoot it straight, they more privileged kids, so they don't take the game, most of them, let me say most of them, they don't take the game as serious, and we grew up, we took it serious, so it's kind of hard for us we don't understand why you here and you don't want to take this, why you here, Alcott, on the other hand, is we had to kick him out the gym.
Yeah. And felt it's time to go home, man.
It's sometimes, some of them didn't want to go home. Some really just loved the game. Alcott, you couldn't. We had to eventually. We ended up having to get a third practice in because they was up there so much. We was like, we might as well practice again.
Yeah.
So I remember at Alcott, we ended up throwing. You only did Tuesday, Thursday back then, and shit. We ended up going Tuesday. They lived in the gym, and so that difference is. It's not a knock on the Monty kids or Cash. It's just that I'd rather be with a group of kids that want to be in the gym versus not being pushed in the gym to try something.
I hear that. And just always trying to be as balanced in my perspective as I can. I know it's possible to be a kid that comes from an affluent background,
right?
But also you got some drive in you,
right?
Some competition about yourself, that fiber. It just doesn't happen as often as the have-nots because they need this sport for a totally different reason.
For a whole nother reason.
Yeah.
And again, and that's not a knock on those kids at Monty or Cash. They are privileged.
Mm-hmm. Right.
A lot of them, they come from good money, and it's the total opposite on the other end. So it's some of that's survival.
Yeah.
Some of that is out. Some of that's just being with their friends. Some of that's not wanting to be at home. So it's different angles and reasons why it's definitely different for the North Side kids for sure.
Why'd you take that 1 year out of coaching? How'd that happen? Did you think it was time to step away or some circumstances?
No, it was when Parker left, Jeremy Ford was AD, and I
shout out Ford, cool Ford, but I understand that.
I leave it right there with Jeremy Ford.
Got you. So you take a year off, then you end up at Tulsa, Washington. Nah, but Booker T.
Listen, you say that over there?
Yeah, it'd be fighting.
Try to hang you upside down.
I know it. That's why I had to start laughing immediately. So you over there, Booker T. How did that opportunity come about for you?
Rob Jarvis, my guy Rob Jarvis was over there first, and he was actually moving back to Houston. Coach Phipps, what's funny, he was actually thinking about calling. That first year Rob was there, but he had a relationship with Rob. He coached him at Oral Roberts.
For sure.
That made total sense. So I sat that one. But anyway, he ended up calling that summer, needing a freshman coach, and then he called Rod Thompson. Shout out to Rod. He called Caleb Green. He called Jason Parker.
Yeah.
And they all said good things about me, and shout out to them three. And after that, it was basically, hey, coach, I love that you trained XYZ for a long time. Would you want to be a part of blah, blah, blah? This is what I need you to do. You in? And hell yeah.
Ooh, so it was one call.
Hell yeah, with a Bryson, a Trey, and a Seth, and a Jalen.
I think I'm coming.
Sign me up.
That's a fact. Now, did you have any idea that all of this, that this was even in the works, or did you just get the call out of the clear blue?
It was actually. It makes sense when it came back around, because remember, I was somewhat in the hat that year before for the assistant job. Rob Jarvis ended up getting that. So it did. When you go back and look at it, it makes sense that way. But at the time, it was random. I was actually getting ready to go down there and coach with Josh Berry. Shout out to Josh for sure, who looked out. But it was a better situation where I didn't have to drive to Muskogee. Josh looked out in a major way, had it set up to where I had a job, boom, boom, boom. So big shout out to Josh. But Booker T was right there. I didn't have to drive to Muskogee, and I wanted to be a part of a group of A1 studs like that. Rolling into possibly 4 Division I's.
Yeah. That don't happen every day.
How many people can say they walk into a situation like that? So I had to.
Man, so I can tell you were excited about that opportunity.
Yeah.
When you got in there, was your role strictly to coach the freshmen, or did you have some of those training opportunities as well?
No, I it was to coach the freshmen, and I think Conley just had to shout out to Coach Phipps. I think he just had to get to know me a little bit better.
Yeah.
He didn't ask for much. It was pretty much, you got the freshman role. I do know you got this type of background with training. You train, all of these guys. And so he would let me, I would work him out all the time and stuff like that. But at first, when I first got there, I had to feel it out. Because Conley, he can, if you don't know him, he can seem unapproachable. But he's a good guy for sure.
Yeah. Teddy bear.
Yeah.
I feel that. So, I mean, let's not even beat around the bush. You there that year, y'all state champs, correct?
State champs, absolutely.
Yeah, man. And it's, tell me about that experience.
It was good. It was good for me. With those caliber of players, and everybody's wanting to go play college basketball. It was rough at first. Guys wanted shots. Some guys deserved shots, some didn't, and it was up and down. And when we got to state, that was the most probably thrilling. I mean, I cried like a baby just to get. I mean, what we went through against Sophomore in the semis,
which was a hell of a game, by the way.
Oh my
God, that was a hell. You want to talk about a game that could have gone either way.
Either
the whole way.
We down 12 in the fourth. And go on a 14-0 run.
Sat there and watched.
And when we got up out of that, man, listen to me, AD. Me and Coach Branch, we thought we won it.
Yeah.
You got to remember, we come from a PC West, barely got out of that.
Yep.
Barely got out of that. Shout out to them down that way. And then turn around and face another Oklahoma City team and them. And they had two good players. And
y'all slayed 2 dragons.
We slayed 2 dragons. I think that had us somewhat ready for North when we got with them in the state championship, man. But it was a good thing. It was a good experience. Coaching that type of talent is, all at once is, that's crazy.
How much differently did you have to, maybe not just you, but how differently do you think the staff had to approach coaching such high caliber, talented athletes? Because with that comes ego.
Absolutely.
And some maybe your verbiage or your tone has to be different versus somebody of lesser talent. Like how'd y'all finesse that or work that?
Well, Conley, Coach Phipps, let me call him Coach Phipps. Coach Phipps already, he had already been coaching them. Trey and Bryce had played together growing up anyway. So Conley knew everybody perfectly. You know what I'm saying? He got there that first year. He got all the kinks out that year. By that second year, he had everything under control. It can be challenging because they all feel like they should have the basketball. Jalen did, Seth did, Trey did, and Bryce, and some of the other guys too. So, but you get to know them. I tried to get to know them more so outside of basketball, and that's how I was able to build that trust, that rapport. And then that year, I was, all of those guys had my numbers. I would stay up long nights when they didn't want to talk to Conley or Coach Branch.
Yeah.
And, I ended up building it through more off the court stuff with them. That led to me being able to talk to him how I wanted to on the court. Because I got that trust already set up. They told me secrets. It's still in my trunk.
Yeah.
Don't nobody know. So they get that, and they took that with my knowledge, with my resume. It was easy.
Man, see, I love to hear that because, a lot of times boys, man, we don't just come up off the trust that quickly.
No, you don't.
Nor that easily.
You don't. Bryce was probably the hardest to crack. Not using crack like that. It was, Bryce is private and on some level can be an introvert. But for the most part, it was me sitting down with Trey, man, getting to know him outside of that, pulling Bryce and say, what you think about this? I start sending him DeMar DeRozan stuff. It was easy, man, to be honest. It was, but I've been doing this. I've been getting to know kids since Alcott. It was easy.
Man, you've been cracking the code. I'll use the word. You've been cracking the code. Man, after that championship run, it sort of, what's crazy is you guys had a chance to run it back.
Yeah.
You know, had it not been for COVID, perhaps.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest, I say the word chance respectfully because obviously year after year, you know, some graduate and you got a different crop.
Yep.
And some teams come back to the pack. And I think, in my estimation, the 2019-20 campaign was the most wide open 6A had been in the last handful of years. And so as a fan, I'm like, I want to see who's going to come up out of this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So talk about the feeling of promise unfulfilled, so to speak. You know what I mean? Or a journey unfinished. Yeah.
That was terrible for the kids. That was terrible for all the kids that went through that. You know, missing your prime, missing state championship. I remember walking into the field house thinking we was getting ready to do film walkover. We were supposed to leave the next day, and that Donovan Mitchell stuff when he came down to the city. You remember that?
I do.
Showed up at the high school, and which was a big shout out to Donovan Mitchell. He was just looking out, wanting to put some smiles on some kids' faces. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's all he was trying to do.
Making days.
That's it, making days, giving guys small wins in life. And it just kind of, it took that from them. You know, they were sad, man. You know, we thought we had another one. Whether that happened or not, of course nobody knows. But you're right. I mean, you still had Southmore coming back. You still had PC West that had something to say. You know, it was Frontier, man. You know, that 6.
It's a different level, man.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
You know, and it's like you said, who knows how it would have finished, but we would have loved to have found out.
We would have loved, listen, I would, you know what's funny? This gonna sound stupid. I get this one up right here.
Mm-hmm. That one there.
Just to try to go get two. Just to try to go get that second one, that back-to-back, that would have been the one, in my opinion. You know, I'm grateful for that, but I get that up right now so those guys can come back and live their senior year the right way. Yeah, you know, I'm being dead serious because we rolled in. Towards the end, we was rolling.
Yeah, I was picking up steam at the right time.
I mean, listen, Bryce was McDonald's. Believe it or not, some of that had affected the locker room slightly. You know.
I do believe that. That ain't hard to believe.
That ain't right. You know, but here's the thing, and rightfully so. Bryce was it's levels. Mm-hmm. Bryce is supposed to shoot all our last shots. He's supposed to shoot the tough ones. He's supposed to shoot the most. Mm-hmm. You know, I would love, man, how we finished that year. I mean, we was knocking off some good talent, some good teams, man, and so
letting it be known here, we starting to hit that peak.
I want that one back, man. F COVID, man.
Yeah, straight up, because we still living with it and in it,
right in it, you know, and so yeah, man. I live with that one. With man, you know, I would love that back-to-back.
That'll solidify some. That'll change some legacies and everything.
I mean, as an assistant, I'm already in the Hall of Fame.
That's a fair point. look at. Oh man, we'll get up off there and put the band-aid on the wound. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I started hearing rumblings at about midway through that season, though. You know, looking back, so we're talking December 2019. Through the rumor mill that after that season, Coach Phipps was gonna, move on. Yeah. Which it made sense, but you never know, what to believe.
Right.
So then that happens, Conley Phipps, ends up stepping down, and there's a coaching change at Booker T. Yeah. Where does that leave you and the rest of the staff at that point?
That left us out.
Really?
Yeah. It shout out to Eli. He did ask me to come over and coach the sophomore group, and at that time, it wasn't what I was on. You know what I'm saying? So I sat that out. But shout out to him because he did ask. You know, he didn't have to ask. He brought his whole crew, rightfully so. Those are his brothers. And he still somewhat tried to make room for me. It wasn't exactly just what I wanted to do though. But big shout out to Eli. He He definitely asked for sure.
I totally get it, man. Man, it's a business, and we all got goals we trying to accomplish. So I can respect.
And those is his brothers. You know, he was in the trenches with him for a long time. He was supposed to bring them.
That makes total sense.
He was supposed to bring them.
You know what I mean? Now, I may be skipping a chapter here, but we got to fast forward to something that I saw that I really liked from you and my man Tyron Hall.
Okay.
Garage Talk.
No doubt. No
Man, okay, that was his brainchild, right? Or was that a collective, between the both of you? Did y'all come up with that together?
Me coming on his show?
Yeah. So it was his show.
Yeah, Garage Talk is Hall's thing.
Okay. When I first saw it, I thought it was y'all's.
No, it was his. We would, he asked me to come on, and then after that, I did the first one, and then he kind of wanted to go get Calvin, and we had got like a little sports chat going, and we would just jump on his. That's all his. Shout out to him. That's all him.
Yeah.
And
love that.
Good for him.
I love those types of platforms.
Proud of all of y'all. Proud of all of y'all.
Thank you, man. But you see, I tell people all the time, I don't read as much as I should, so this is my educational piece right here. When I sit across from people, pick their brains, let them pour into me, and then when I watch it back, I'm like, okay, I forgot about that last time.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing it. But from that, I'm like, listen. And you had been on me for a couple years, like, hey, man, you need to get me on the show. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, I say, yeah, it's time. It's time
I appreciate
for old games,
it, man.
no doubt.
I do appreciate it.
And
I've always been a fan from far.
Thank you, bro. And you have never been shy about letting me know that. And I appreciate that.
No doubt.
The old man's league, dog. That's what's really hot, man. That's what's really hot. Yeah. First of all, thank you for doing that.
No problem.
All of us that got a little gas left in the tank,
yeah,
we don't get to get up and down and get after it as often as we used to, or as often as we like to. But this right here, man, this is actually giving it's added light to my weekends.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Why and how? When?
I'd always kind of thought about it. I just I finally pulled a trigger on it. We did a YouTube one time last year, and I paid my guy Johnny Dash, shout out to him, to do a video. And everybody looked at it. It was he had more views on our old man YouTube playing basketball than some of his basketball highlights, that he was doing.
Wow.
And I just went for it. I've been saying I was going to do it. Everybody told me to do it, for a long time. I have been responsible for a lot of underground hoop sessions for a long time. Whether that was up at TU, Aspen, Bally's.
Oh, you took it back when you said
Bally's. And so I think it all made sense. And then I called one of my guys called Keenan.
Right.
And shout out to him, Fiji Game, and he made the call of Victory. I like Victory because Victory came with security and 2 courts, and we didn't get to live with social media.
No.
And so some of us feel shorted on some level. And so, but now it's been fun. You get to come out and compete, and a lot of people think it's me. It's really y'all. They come to watch y'all. They don't come to watch me. They don't really even come to listen to me on the microphone. When they come, it's because your family want to come watch you.
Right.
And so the league is what I started, but it's the players' product for sure.
Man, take me through it logistically. Like, what all had to happen in order for you to put it together? Everything from, I guess you can call it the rental or the reservation of facilities, right? Delegation of responsibilities, because I would imagine, it's not just a one-man band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Staffing the place, getting sponsorships.
Yeah.
Take me through all that.
Again, like I said, I wanted Victory because Victory had 2 courts, really 3. As you know, you see the kids, the kids get to play. It was perfect.
That's a win.
Again, it came with security. So my first thing was called Victory. And Victory's busy, by the way.
Yeah.
So that took a little time to get back, but they finally got back. I shot them my dates. I emailed them my dates, and they was okay with that. And you go up there, you pay. I kind of gave them my vision. We talked. That was it.
Didn't seem like it took much.
It didn't take a lot. It was more so just tying up the stuff with Victory, getting them paid. Again, I love the security, and we get to run back next to each other. I love that. That's an AAU feel that we got robbed of with social media. We didn't get AAU with Tom Izzo over there because he seen us on Instagram.
Right.
You know, and so we got shorted on that part. But I'm trying to get everybody back in front of a camera and give them an AAU feel with, you know, you love to go in gyms and it's 2 and 3 and 4 gyms and all you hear is and whistles. You
chaos.
Just love that
organized
basketball.
chaos.
Yes, organized chaos. So it's been good. It's been fun. I'm having fun with it. I'm glad y'all having fun. They come to watch y'all. I promise, not me.
Now I don't know what your goal was for the first season, but now that the first season is wrapped up and we're basically, well, technically we're heading into the second week of the second season, right?
Right.
What did you set out to determine what success would look like in that first season, and did you hit the mark?
The first one I took a loss.
Okay.
I took a loss.
Talking about financially?
Money-wise, yeah.
Gotcha.
But then the second one, but in the midst of y'all playing, some team named the Playmakers won champion. I don't know who's on that team, but anyway.
We had to have some of those guys on the show or something.
Yeah, had to have guys on the show. I did take a loss. I took a loss the first one for sure. You know, but as soon as I said season 2, I got back with victory. They said we can do this. I wanted to do a longer season, and just like that, man. I had to cut 4 teams, tell them they couldn't play.
Really?
So it went from 6 to 16 in 2 weeks.
And the season wasn't short, in my opinion. It was 8 weeks.
It was 8 total, and it was your 8th one was, I think, the All-Star. I think it may have been the All-Star / championship game or something like that. But I'm happy. I'm glad y'all happy. It's growing. I meet with PWP for the new building next week. They want the product. They want y'all. They want y'all. And so I'm gonna sit down with them next week. Lord willing, I have 30 teams by May. I got some people coming down from Oklahoma City already. Muskogee, Wagner. I have 24 for sure by the beginning of the year.
See,
for sure.
You making moves, man. You ain't wasting time.
And again, they don't even know me. You know, they know y'all. They come to watch y'all. You know, so I just put it together, but it's all y'all for sure.
Man, we can definitely keep doing that because I'm a participant and a believer. You know what I'm saying?
It's been fun, man. Y'all listen. They didn't see y'all coming.
Nah, they
didn't see y'all coming. You know, and y'all was losing a few close ones, but y'all figured it out right at the right time.
Yeah, we're like 3 weeks in a row, 3 L's straight.
Just I'm looking close ones too. Close ones.
Yeah, see that was the only part about it that was encouraging. Like, you know, we're not far off here.
You're not far off, and I don't know if you remember week 1 or week 2, I blasted y'all out. Said, listen, I like this team.
Yeah, he did.
I like what they provide, but after y'all lost 3 or 4 in a row, it was like, man, I gotta put them down here 20 plus 2,300 odds to win it.
Yeah, man.
Try to add the little Vegas part.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. I loved it. You know what I mean? Nothing like being an underdog.
No doubt, no doubt. So shout out to y'all, man. You pulled it through, and
you know,
and the first champion.
First chance, historical.
No doubt, no doubt.
Now tell me about your skills in the kitchen, man.
I didn't see this question.
A couple years ago, I just started peeping.
Yeah.
And you just, for whatever reason, decided to start sharing, your preparation process in the kitchen. And not only was food looking good, but it was, and you could tell it was relatively healthy too.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm looking at your physical physique, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You done trimmed down in the front a little bit.
I'm trying.
You know what I'm saying? Well, tell me all about it, dog. Why, how, when, all that.
Cooking. Grandma used to cook big time. You know, we all got the grandparents and parents that cook, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I could skip past that. My wife was, she was a cook. And she could, my wife can cook.
Yeah, she can get busy.
She don't, but she can, and then I had some of my guys, shout out to my guy, Danielle Lucas.
Yeah.
Abby, shout out to Abby. Like, I used to sit up and watch Abby grill.
I didn't even know Abby get busy like that.
Yeah, Abby always could, once he became a pro and everything fell in, and he had time in the summers to, get better, I'll go over Ebbs, and Ebb he cooking A1 12-ounce steaks for everybody, just putting on like Abby always do anyway.
True.
But I would pick up from them, and then to be honest, man, I cooked for my wife one time. She liked it, and I just kind of stuck with it, man.
Yeah.
And now I cook all the meals. She don't cook.
She said, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and delegate that to you, big dog.
She passed it on down, and so, but I have fun with it. I try to keep it healthy with a lot of spinach.
Mm-hmm.
Spinach is something you can eat with your food and not really taste it,
Mm-hmm.
but it does what it's supposed to do. We eat spinach for a reason.
That's right.
And we all got our own reasons, but you can cook a steak and have sauteed spinach, and then may rush your steak process and have it break down because the veggies they're gonna do what they do. They're gonna make you go.
Yes,
That's
sir.
just
That's
the
fuel.
reality of it.
That's
So I always try to keep a veggie in there. Veggies like spinach, green beans. I'm having pretty much with every meal. I'm trying to speed up the 3 to 5, 7 day process of breaking that meat down in my body. Those vegetables will speed that up.
You just gave me some game right there.
Yeah.
You never ever had it quite worded like that. That makes perfect
it
sense.
will help speed up the digestion part of it.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's a trip how when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily appreciate the home cooked meals as much as I do now as an adult. Like, man, when we ride by them arches, McDonald's used to make me smile. You understand me?
Every time.
But now it's like, man, if it's a meal, if it ain't got no green on the plate, dog, I'm sitting this back.
I might skip it.
Yeah.
Now we all grew up on that. Here's a question: is Pine and Peoria the most famous McDonald's ever? How long have that McDonald's been there?
Yeah, I'm telling you, but before or after the construction, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like that whole area legendary. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt, man. But I do enjoy the cooking, man. And when you get older, man, you like to grill. You like to show your stuff outside. You like to bring the fellas over. You like to have a party and provide that. We all that's an easy way to the soul. It's cliche, but it is real. You cook well for somebody. How do they not have a place in your life on some level?
Yeah, man. When that food got that love in it.
They got that love.
It's different.
Man,
got that
mine
love.
got love, man. Mine got love, man.
You sure do, man. Yeah. Put it together. But here's how we gonna wrap this thing up right here, Coach.
Okay.
I want you to talk to me about fatherhood. Okay. And the reason why I asked that is because, I'll shoot straight. We both black men.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? We both have our fathers in our lives.
No
you
doubt.
know what I mean?
No doubt.
I'm not a parent, but you are.
Absolutely.
And, I just have an affinity for the presence of black fathers.
Right.
And particularly with the relationship that they have with their sons.
No doubt.
I'm a daddy's boy through and
through. Without a doubt. Shout out to Pops.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Yours as well.
Thank you, sir.
How has it been being a father? You're a father of 3.
Absolutely.
Right? You got a lot of things going on, and I know in a lot of ways you be having to try to be more than one place at one time.
All the time.
How do you balance and keep the main thing with being dear old dad?
It's not easy. So 2 years ago, I'll give you a brief rundown. It's all tied in, and fatherhood is in there. First of all, I love being a father. I love all my kids. I'm gonna tell you how hard it can be. I sold my car 2 years ago for $10,000. Went and bought a house at a tax auction for $7,000. Now I got a house appraised at $95,000. I sold my car for my kids' foundation. I was renting a house from a man that I shouldn't have been renting for 5.5 years. We tallied up. I spent $77,000 with this man. So I smartened up. I sold my car. Went to the auction. That we got that. So now my foundation is set. No matter what, I'll be able to leave my kids at least one house. These are things you got to start thinking like. When you become a dad, I got 2 teenagers. Pretty much, my oldest is 13. She's getting ready to turn 14. My son's 12. He's getting ready to turn 13. It's tough. My oldest is a little girl. She's going through the whole hoodie in the summer attitude.
Yeah.
Boys, XYZ.
All that.
But then my son is autistic.
I didn't know that.
And so he's growing out of that big time. But I'm pulled. I got getting ready to be a 5-year-old. So I got this demographic, a 4-year-old, then I got an autistic son that need me for different reasons, completely.
Yeah, and he's a preteen, which is a very awkward age.
It's awkward. He's trying to figure who he is out. And then at the same time, my oldest, she's getting ready to really hit her teenage years, and I'm spread out. I'm pulled. I'm spread thin on one car.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Again, I sold my car, so we ride my wife's car. Shout out to my wife, A1. She's been helping big time too with all the kids. You know, it's teamwork. It really do take a village, but it's made me more than anything. I think I'm probably more known for basketball around Tulsa, if anything. But being a dad, man, I had to sold my car. I ain't got no
know you
wheels.
don't
I don't have any wheels.
Because that's wifey's whip out there.
It's wifey's whip out there. But my house is paid for.
There you
If
go.
anything happened to me, they'll split damn near 100 down the middle 3 ways. I hope that you can do well with 33,000. Lord willing, that's if something was to happen to me early. If not, I'm gonna try to leave with my house of peace. But this is what you do when you got kids. I've seen all the guys on your show, man. You can ask Coach Savage, you can ask Rod, you can ask Ebby. It's real. You know, you got to. I hate not being able to go where I want to go.
Yeah.
But
when you want to go.
When I want to go. Golly, got to ask my wife. But I don't pay a mortgage. I don't owe the bank. Again, if anything ever happened to me, I'll be able to leave them some sort of money, you know, when it's all said and done. So parents, we got to take that serious. It's not just taking care of them and taking them to basketball, because you got to do that too. But you better start early, man, on that foundation and get them in college and start saving for a car. You don't want to start saving when they're 13 or 14. It's too tight.
So sneak up on you.
It's too tight. So fatherhood, I take anybody in my circle. Anybody know me? Fatherhood, it's first. You know, it ain't even ain't nothing a distant second. Not even basketball. So not even my mama.
And we all know we love mom.
And I love my mama to death, but those in those 4 walls that I live in that house, it's all on me. You know what I'm saying? It's not on me to protect my mom. It's on my mom's husband. And shout out to him. Both of them. That don't mean I don't love my mom to the roof.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, your kids, man, they gonna turn you into something. They'll show your priority and where it's at for sure.
Yeah, ain't nothing else for me to follow up after that, bro. But, man, I appreciate every syllable of that, man.
No problem, man.
Bro,
I'm broke too. Bro.
Can't tell. Look at the outfit. Ain't nothing broke about that, man.
I'm broke, but I will say this: it's coming along, and knowing the good stuff is already out the way. The kids are taken care of. They're getting ready to, go to high school now. It could be worse.
That's a different type of piece right there.
Yeah, it could be worse, could be better.
For sure.
I don't mind being in the middle for sure.
Work in progress as always, man. Well, bro, I appreciate you spending time on this Sunday
Pleasure's
fun
all
day.
mine.
You know
Pleasure's
what I
all
mean?
mine,
I'm a
for
big
sure.
fan before. I'm a big fan
Thank you,
even
sir.
still, man.
Thank
So
you, sir. I'm a big fan too.
shout out to Gaines and the Old Man's League.
Thank you.
And we out this thing.